Ali at mindwavemeditation.com. And this is a big one. Are you ready? Are you ready to discover the most important thing in the world? And you're a massive part of it. So let me ask you this question. Dare you discover what's on this video? It's going to be like no more than 10 minutes, so you don't need to be anywhere else right now. The birds and ducks are pretty excited right now. Let's dive right in to the most important thing in the entire world. And just like that, here we are, just like magic. So what is the most important thing in the entire world, and dare you discover it? Okay, here we go. So the most important thing, and I think we can all agree, in the world, according to you, is you. And without you, there really is no world in your life. There is no existence. There is no family or friends or dreams, hopes, desires, goals, achievements, things you've done, things that you're thinking of doing in the future. It just doesn't exist. So we all have this in common. We all know we're gonna die. A bit morbid, but true. We all know we are kind of the most important thing in the world. We can be selfless and do nice things for other people, but ultimately, unless we look after ourselves and figure out our own path in life and help provide for family and be able to explore ideas and bring them into reality, it's just, nothing really matters. Sorry to pop that bubble right there, but it's true. Without you, there is no world. So there's an interesting thing that happens in life, and it certainly happened to me. That's why I'm sat in a woodland area talking to a camera with the loving intention that it will enter your heart space and you will feel some warmth and hear some truth that may resonate with you on your journey, and you'll be able to infuse what we're talking about here into your life and make a positive, happy difference, if that makes sense. Positive, happy difference. Why not? So you, number one, you. There's an interesting thing that happens in life, and it happens to lots and lots of people, and it's very, very, very common, but we don't, catching myself there, we do speak about it because I'm speaking about it now. We haven't in the past often talked about this kind of stuff because it's a bit whoa, and it just opens up so much, and it's a personal thing to some. It's a difficult question for others. It's a whole thing for a whole lot of people, and so I want to bring it up because I like doing that. I like to just kind of shake the tree, not for just my own fun, because I feel that some of us need a little shake, a little kind of nudge, a little kind of bump, a little push. And some of us don't. Some of us are absolutely fine. So this kind of content for some people will be quite jarring. They'd hear this and be like, ugh, don't tell me what to do. Don't talk to me about stuff like that. And that's cool, because if that's you, then watch something else, because this kind of stuff is only for a certain type of person. And as you're still here watching this, then this may very well be you. So what am I talking about here? Well, really, I'm talking about what some like to refer to as an awakening. Now, that word comes with a whole load of all sorts of baggage. It's a loaded word, awakening. So where do we start? Well, I like to look at it just like this. obviously the word awakening sounds very spiritual, woo-woo, woo-woo, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff, which obviously I wholeheartedly enjoy, evidently. But when the first stages of awakening happened to me, I was very, very small, and I had a moment in the back of a school line, and I remember thinking about space, and I let my mind wander, and I was 4 or 5, I don't know, and my mind wandered, and I thought about space, and I tried to think about what was beyond the planet, and I went out into space, and I was like, oh yeah, the stars, and then galaxies, and then pictured further, and I remember having this moment of I could still remember it. I can't have been more than 5, because that's when I was at that school, right? I was 5 years old, and I remember having this feeling of what the hell, just like a, not like a pop, but like everything was just disappeared. I remember it really, really vividly, and thinking, what was that? And as time went on, things would happen, and it would remind me of that moment. And I didn't know what that moment was. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know anything about it, but it was so profound. It was so like nothing else, that little things started to remind me of it. And reflecting now, it's almost like all of life is just a reflection of that moment, which is infinite space, oneness, peace, stillness, tranquility, calm, contentment, equanimity. Some would then venture on to say God, Buddha, Allah, the divine divinity, consciousness. And you know what? I told my friend all this years later, and he said a similar thing to that. He said, oh, you know, you could have had a DMT awakening. There's a pineal gland in the brain, and it's really, really small. And when we die, some say that opens up, and that's the portal to spirit realm. There's a whole big thing on DMT if you don't know about DMT. And then he said to me, or you could have just had your first science lesson and just thought about it, you know, so. But the point is, this awakening thing that people talk about can be really, really subtle and small. And I recently taught a student, and we were talking about life, and she was saying how she had a moment in her day when she was just reminded by nature, just the trees and the sounds, just reminding her of life, and it was just so beautiful and just so profound. And if all this stuff is just like, okay hippie, then that's totally cool, because I totally get it. But what I wanted to tell you was something happened to me along the way. Lots of these little kind of stages, and I'll talk about them as we go because it's fun. But that was the first one, and that was a big one. And as I went on and on and on, I was reminded by these little moments of just pure bliss, pure like just beyond reality moments. And ultimately speaking, I think my whole path was just trying to find that moment over and over and over again, and almost harness it, you know, try and kind of grab that moment. So through yoga and meditation, positive thinking, beyond positive thinking, all that sort of stuff. Eating clean, living in balance, don't get me wrong. Still like to have a party. No one's coming to that party. That's what it felt like that moment was for me. That was the first of many moments to kind of go, okay, what was that? Go find that, bottle it up, and try and tell other people about it. That was what my kind of awakening seemed to be about. Find it and go and kind of explain it to other people who are not so kind of, people who are super, super conscious don't necessarily need this stuff. But people who are unconscious and everything in between is a kind of a nice bandwidth, I think, to kind of talk about this stuff. So years later, I went down the same loops that everybody else does, just, drinking, smoking, doing all the stuff, just going through life, oblivious to life itself, just having fun and just kind of working my way through my 20s. And I read a book called The Power of Now, who many of you would have known, The Power of Now, which completely pulled the rug, just completely pulled it all away, just pulled down the veil, pulled all the masks off, and just blasted me into what I would call reality now, which is dogs barking, which is what is. Everything is what is, and minus all the commentary about it. Life is here and now, and we are very much a part of everything in nature, and we are essentially all connected. We are all just vibration. And so on my journey trying to harness all this stuff, I decided to look at lots of successful people, spiritual people that had kind of defined themselves, self-actualized themselves, self-realized themselves, and become the people that we see and know and love today. And first I started with the rock biographies because they were fun, full of drug stories and interesting debauchery. And then, interestingly enough, the more I kind of dived down the rabbit hole and dived into meditation and all this kind of stuff, my consciousness kind of started to go, I don't want to say above, as above, so below, but it certainly started to shift in another area. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, the more I kind of started pulling this thread, the more the stories of debauchery and drugs and all that kind of stuff, which was super fun to read, became less important, and a connection to life itself, healing, health, happiness, compassion, kindness, all that kind of stuff became more important. It felt more real, more honest, and more important. And so when you break it down, I'm the most important thing in my life, and then obviously family and friends, and you are the most important thing in your life, and then your family and friends, and then it goes out and out and out and out. And ultimately what I'm trying to say is, when I kind of went through all that stuff and found this real connection to myself, and again, you can go on to call that a million different things, then it became really clear that we're living in our own worlds, and we go into our job, or we do our job, and we see the same people, and we do the same things, and then we go and venture out and discover the things we love and do all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, we're the same thing in all of these different scenarios. We're always there. Whenever there's a problem, you're always there. Chew on that one for a bit. And it seemed so simple when I discovered all of these successful people and put all this stuff together in my head, that they all kind of followed a certain set of principles. And it wasn't about gaining more, it was about removing. It was the opposite of what I was thinking. If you want love, give love. If you want money, create things and give money. Whatever you want, you give, instead of what we tend to think is whatever we want, we need it, we pray for it. So that was more on the spiritual side. On the kind of the business side and the successfully people side, just say that again just in case you missed it the first time, was the principles were to figure out what self is and wants and needs and desires. Figure it out. So there's loads of videos I'll put down below of how we find our purpose and all that kind of stuff. And then together, the spiritual side and the successfully people side, the businessy people, put them all in one kind of group as people that have self-realized and actualized themselves. And they all seem to live a very simplistic life, in a sense. Their principles were all kind of, they weren't doing a million different things. They were all kind of doing a handful of things and doing them really, really well. So after studying all these people and then starting to apply that to my life, then it was so evident in my life that these things were working for me. Everything got easier. Everything just got a lot easier. And yes, there's still lots of things to go through and process. I have things in my personal life which are heavy and hard to deal with, but through these principles that you learn in meditation and yoga and positive thinking, and through the simplicity of the self-development industry, of breaking things down and watching out for distractions and focusing on one thing and figuring out what that one thing is and applying your whole being to that thing to make it happen, so you can build a kind of a platform so you can crawl up and bring something else in and spin the plates, but spin them ever so carefully, consciously, with good intentions and compassion and kindness and all the rest. It was really, really interesting that all these people shared similar values, beliefs, morals, and life just seemed a lot easier for these people. You read these stories and they're happy. Why are they happy? Because they're living the life of their dreams. They're living in the houses that they want to live in. They're just living life how they want to live. And that, to me, is the only proof that one could ever need that we can live the life that we want and desire. And that was another moment, another kind of all these people that you like, whether it's in your local area, on TV, people that you aspire to be, they are purely a reflection for what you can also have. Like we said before, if you want to be an astronaut and you don't have all the some people just aren't going to be an astronaut, let's face it. But if there's something that you truly love and you think is attainable in your life, and you could probably get it if you just could figure out how to move towards it, then I 100% believe that you can have that thing. And it's just a case of knowing where to start, how to not become distracted, and how to just dive into achieving that goal. So I decided to try it out for myself, and I put a few things together. I tried it on many people for a few years, got lots of feedback, tweaked lots of stuff, and eventually I've come to compile a really short mini-series. It's a coaching call, and it's 2 hours of your time where this guy leads you through a sequence and guides you through a really simple process that you can apply to your life. So no matter if you want to overcome something, achieve something big or small, or create a future and you're not really sure how yet, there's a lot of noise there. Maybe you're not sure if you're with the right partner, or there's a person you want to maybe connect with. Maybe your finances need a little kind of a zhuzh. Your emotional health, mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Whatever your jam is, this coaching call is jam-packed with practical tools, steps, and it will just easily help you, guide you onto your desired path. And I've had so much fun doing it for myself that recording it was just an absolute bliss, that I did it each video in one take. And I've never done that before. I've always, there's always been some birds, or I've gone boop, 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 and had to cut and edit. So that was such a proud moment for me to deliver 2 hours worth of material in flow. And when I caught that, I decided to catch that moment and go, I'm really proud of you. That was very well done. All this work has come into a piece that you can look at and give to other people now. Job done, well done, let it go, move on. And that's kind of the whole point of the video, is to get to a point where you can create something, do something, achieve something, make something, share something, live a desire or a dream, and accomplish it. No matter how big or small, it could be super small. It could be caring for a plant and making it grow. That could be the start of your journey, just caring for one thing. Or it could be building a business or a company or an online thing or whatever. Raising a child. What a massive achievement. Raising a child really, really well. Some could argue the biggest accomplishment. Whatever it is, this video series will help guide you on that journey. And it's called Dare to Discover. And what that question mark really is dare to discover you. Dare to discover what the real you is, who you are, what you're meant to be, what you can achieve, what you can create, what you can overcome. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to even just share this with you, because I can't wait to see what could potentially come of this conversation. And so I'll leave it there. That's 25 minutes of me. And before I go, the big four: subscribe, notify, hit the links, comment, keeps it going, like, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, I just wanted to say thank you so much for investing your time into this video. I think I lied and said it's going to be 10 minutes and then just carried on talking. But if you are interested, then click the link below, give it a whirl. It's 2 hours of your life that could completely transform your whole being, your whole world, your relationships with your friends and family. You could set yourself up for the dream life that you've always secretly dreamed of. A million different endings to this video, but please let me know how it goes for you, what you think. If you've got any questions, just let me know in the comments below. And have the most wonderful day. I don't normally do this, but I feel like sending you some deep love from the heart. And as cheesy as that sounds, I don't care, because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the love. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, take care.